There was classes. Many dedicated teachers were there. They tried their best to improve our study. This law, then the question of career issue is there. Initially, I was not inclined to study the law, frankly speaking. So, I was at the time was very popular so far as my debating is concerned. I was the University Blue at that time. So my father started to debate with me, why you will not study law? Because it is a nice course. That was as per opinion of my father. He was not a lawyer, but he was dealing with the legal matters, being the district sanitary inspector. He was in charge here in the district to deal with all. He was also busy with the law books, Food Adulteration Act, Evidence Act, all this criminal procedure. So he started to argue with me that. My point was that I was a student of science. I don't like to go there. It is not a science at all. What I will do there? And I was in the politics also at that time, in University Student Union also I was there. I was very actually involved in the politics at that time. Then my father advised me that, like your brothers, do you like to be the engineer? Then you will not have your political life. Actually, it was my very allurement to me to be in the politics. Then ultimately he started arguing. Then I say, why it is telling me this way? Well, no, law is a very nice course. You have not seen the good lawyers. They are spending the nights studying, interpreting all these clauses, this, that. It encompasses every aspect of the social life. So he started to throw the examples, mainly his experience. Because suppose you are arguing a food adulteration case, then it requires a calculation of pH value, saponification value, all these. And ultimately referred a case that in the Supreme Court the accused were acquitted because of pH value calculation was wrong. The mathematical calculation, it requires also mathematics. Then he went to the physics, because he was also a student of science earlier. They went to the physics. They said a running train, that is a gunshot. A person was in the platform. The case started, you are for the accused. What will be your defense? Then his father told me that you can take this defense, that from a running train, its velocity is there, a person in the stagnant position, in the static condition on the platform. So a projectile, when a bullet will be fired there is a projectile, is path. If you can describe this way, that it will not go in that place. Calculating the speed of the running train and also calculating the injury as sustained, because the bullet injury, if it is go downwards that way, if it goes straight way, that is the basic difference. Then he started to argue that suppose in an acid case you are arguing on behalf of the accused. All of his examples were from the criminal side. So very well, then you may argue on behalf of the accused. Yes, that was actually the person died. You can take the plea that it's a hospital's responsibility. They caused mistake and resultant effect is the death. Because it was not the injury due to acid injury. You may cross-examine the witnesses by this way, what type of acid? Because there are different types of acid, organic acid, inorganic acid. There is also in the strength variation is there, concentrated, dilute, like this. That your defense you can take this point, that it was a very dilute, it's a cleaning acid, it's a mercuric acid. It has it does not cause any such injury that will be the resultant effect will be the death. Might be there was a gangrene, might be something negligence of the hospitals, and even in the postmortem report it is not mentioned that what type of acid, because this is not being done, that is not being analyzed. So he started to then he came to a civil matter. Then suppose there is a husband and wife are quarreling and fighting with each other. There is a little, they have kids. Then your purpose will be like a priest, like a social scientist, to unite, to make them united further. You will not indulge so that a family will break. There your purpose is like a priest, like a social reformer. You have to advise them that way. So by this way he started to arguing. There are many things, there are other many I don't like to just, some example I am given. Then ultimately I agreed, very well, I will study the law. But one condition, that only for 2 years I will spend, not more. Then I will go with my career in the mathematics, then I will do PhD or whatever it may be, I will go in that line. So agreed. And in just 2 years time given, I started to practice here in Burdwan court. I used to go by cycle, initially. It was very nice days I spent here. In university also I used to come here with my cycle. In university class, that's enjoyable. At night, there was an evening class. And we used the hassock light. At that time it is called hassock like this. Because there was no electricity, sometimes there is no current, nothing. And Gulabbag at that time there was not so, localities are not there so much. But this is a very nice place for us for study. And both the two departments are there, mathematics and law, side by side. I used to enjoy those days. And rather you can say that I became a catalyst in between the two departments, science and arts, all these. Then after practicing, started to practice here, I realized, yes, my father was right. It is a subject, it is a mother of all subjects. If you want to be a good lawyer, that is called, now it is called as a litigation. Now the present students are telling it as a litigation. Some are telling in the corporate sectors service like this. So, that all the branches of the study, that to some extent in many cases that will come to you. My experience I am telling, when I was a lawyer in Calcutta High Court, I was practicing. A very nice case came to me. That was a cess charge on coal. That was being charged. To the person concerned were dealing with there is the coke. Average coke, nut coke, hot coke, like these are coke. Those are the residuary from the coal refinery plants. When they used to sell it, then Durgapur steel plant used to impose the cess charge on coal upon them, and huge amount of money was there. I, on behalf of their association, called this. Then I took the point, I took the help of the chemistry. What chemistry? In the plain dimension, what is the coal? What is its chemical composition? And what is coke? What is its chemical composition? In coke chemical composition, there is a carbon deposit more. There is a basic difference in between coal and coke. 4 or 5 paragraphs I stated all these things. There is a difference between coal and coke. To teach the judge, if he is not of the science background of chemistry like this. Then I narrated, you see the law. What is the law? Law is that from the coal mines who will purchase the coal. a cess charge to be given. It takes from in the railway freight, it is added, and that cess is utilized for the laborers of the coal mines, for their education, welfare and others. Then I took that point in the plane that if the Durgapur Project Limited or Alloy Steel Plant or Durgapur Steel Plant is not the coal mines. They are not the coal mines where from my client is purchasing coal. Neither my purchasing is coal nor they are the coal mines. And what they are purchasing? A byproduct of the coal, a residue. After processing in the plant, coal washery plants, that is coming down. There are many processes, naphtha, all this and that. Is ultimately a residue. So that residue, as per in the terms of the chemistry, is not at all equal and equivalent to the coal. And I succeeded. I won the case. They went up to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court also they lost it. That's why I am telling, wherever there is in the true science, you have to bring everything. It is the law is itself is a very analytical, very logical, and you have to put that. You have to bring those in the legal plaint. Unless it is not a plaint, you cannot argue that way. The similar matter was there in a salseed. I am giving some examples to the law students who are there. I remember those days, nearly I am indebted to this law department as I studied the law here. In a salseed, there is a decortication of salseed, then sal oil, and that from sal oil, and there is also sal, the cake for feeding the animals. So there is a tribal welfare society, the West Bengal Tribal Welfare. They actually collect the sal seeds from the forest, and it is being marketed by the Tribal Welfare Society. Different mills, they purchase it and crush it, then sal oil is there. It is being used for preparation, manufacturing chocolates. Over they are coating like this, it is eatable. They from sal oil, they butter like they prepare. So they complained they did not pay the money, about crores of money there was on the ground, that yes, all the sal seed you have given, those are infested with the fungus. No money. The case started, I was for the West Bengal Tribal Development Cooperative Corporation. I was the counsel, they came to me for a conference, I held a conference very well. They briefed me, I heard it. Then I gave them a date, after 1 month you come, I will make another conference. In the meantime, what I did, I went to the science college and consulted the person concerned who is dealing with the particular these sal plants and others in that department. Then I got information. I got a book also, they gave a reference, that different sal, what is their characteristics, what are the chemical components of sal seed, what everything like this. I studied about 4 or 5 books from that, I purchased and I started to study. Then about fungus also I purchased many books, and what is fungus? I have to know. You have to know the every word and everything of your case. Then you will be able to argue the matter properly. Then ultimately what happened, I cross-examined their biotechnologist who came. He was at that time is a popular scientist and also professor of the University of Jadavpur. This is a private company, they produce him. That is a fungus, infected sal seed, it was wastage. Then I cross-examined that gentleman, that what type of fungus it was there. In your memo, have you written anything? But no, it's a white fungus, it's commonly known, it's a fungus. And very nice. But you see this book, fungus, white fungus is not injurious. White fungus is not at all infectious, nothing. It is helpful. Because over the pony, if a white fungus is there, it is very nice, it is digestive. But you see the injurious is blue fungus. There are 4 types of fungus. Then second cross-examination question I raised to him, that you just deposed that all the fungus had eaten the sal oil. Oil was eaten, so there was nothing. There was no oil in the sal seed. Very nice. Then I asked the question, you see, whether the fungus is a animal cell or a plant cell. The answer came out that fungus is a plant cell. Whether the plant cell can eat the oil? The answer came no. So I won the case. That everything was absolutely nothing. This is the point. So whenever you will, so in the law, in the interpretation of the statutory provisions are there. At the same time, you have to interpret every comma, every sentence, every word, everything. Because why? Then your first question will be why it is there in the provision. Then you have to go down to the jurisprudential thinking. What is the jurisprudence? What is the purpose for the society? Because law is for the benefit of the society. Earlier also was there with the discipline. The people used to follow the law, but that was in the different commandments of the dharma. Different commandments of the society, they are command. That is, if you follow this, you have to do this, you have to do that. When we was the nomadic, at that time also they have the law. The people used to move around of the forests from this place to that place, to that place, to this place. There was a Sardar, he used to rule. So the rule of law from our very beginning, long back from our dawn of civilization, it is flowing. Now it has taken, then there was a custom, usage, all this came up. Then ultimately now a law is crystallized in the law. And law now is being the tool and agents for the purpose of doing justice. Law and justice is not synonymous, not identical. Justice is completely different. You have to do justice, you have to balance. Then different theories are evolving. Proportionality doctrine, social justice doctrine, the economic justice doctrine, all these doctrines are coming one after another. It is now a revolution in the legal field. In the social justice concept in Constitution, also in preamble, you see that justice, then social, economic, political. So this word justice is there. First, then social. Justice must be social oriented. This orientation, how we will do that? Suppose a person had stolen 1 rupee from the storeroom or ate the 1 packet of biscuit from the storeroom and conviction. Would you punish that gentleman for the so long years? Or will give a fine of 5 rupees, go back? What will be the justice? What quantum of punishment you will give? Award to that gentleman. Then you have to balance it. Now, social justice concept is also there because in Indian philosophy, in Indian constitution, the reflection is on the point of social justice. Very dawn of our civilization, from the Vedic age also it is coming down. Because we want practically feeling of social consciousness to be in reality with each other. We will compare and share. Equality clause also was there. And that's why the Upanishads telling Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahakara Bhavai. It is that we must live together, eat together, get together with the pleasures. Sarve Sukhinu Bhavantu, let every people be happy. This is the auspicious argument of the Upanishad. They are telling God equality. They have been reflected in our constitutions. The equality clause under Article 14, then is a coming word, the fundamental rights. These aspects of the social justice issue, you the law students, you have to cultivate more. You have to give in that way. How the justice to be given, how the justice to be done. Because a thread by thread analysis to be made, even in your domestic law, even in your commercial law, even in the public law field also. And other very responsibility to us with the students of law. Now, still now I consider myself as a student. Still now I used to study in my library. I spend my days in that studying because I still now a student. I have to understand, I have to go through that way. What is that? What it is a dynamic subject, social science subject. We have to enter in that area. Then we will be able to consider all aspects of the issue. Now you see that in a public law field, our challenge is more. Public law field against the government, against the authority under Article 12 of the Constitution of India. You know, government is not a past government. Sometimes the government makes some charity, but sometimes the government is very rude. There are so many people are suffering harassment in the hands of the government because power is there. As you remember, that's very quote, power is like an alcohol. More power corrupts a person absolutely. So, the accumulation of the power and its application to the people who are sufferers, the common people, you have to raise the voice. In the public law field, your responsibility and challenge every more. There you have to give the shape of the social justice by fighting with that issue. Your tool will be the Constitution of India. A protective umbrella, fundamental rights, the active principle of the state policy, that should be there. And in that way it will help the society, and ultimately social justice concept again will become. Because we want a society where there will be no corruption. We want a society where there will be no oppression. And a society, a nice society where the people will be happy. So to be happy, rule of law you have to follow. If everyone follows the rule of law, the society will be good. If you do not follow the rule of law, then there will be a disturbance in the society, and that social norms will be destroyed and demolished. So my friends, I will not prolong this speech more. There are there, they will speak. So really, I am enjoying much in your front, and a responsibility upon you. Social justice concept, always keep it in mind. And with that idea, you again make this department as a unique one. It was there at that time with the teachers of the local teachers, some of